Hi, in this video I'll help you get to know your car a little better. At the end of this video I've put together a straightforward infographic that summarizes all the key points. Like, subscribe and comment below. It really helps.
All right, if you're a Dodge owner and you're staring down the trouble code P0883, you know it can be a real headache. Well, don't worry. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what that code means and, more importantly, how you can actually solve it step by step. You know that feeling, right? That little amber check engine light pops on and your heart just sinks a little bit. It's not just a light, it's a message. Your car is trying to tell you something's wrong. So when that message is code P0883, what's the story? Let's get to the bottom of it.
Okay, first things first, we've got to understand what our car is trying to say. This code isn't just some random glitch. It's a very specific warning sign coming straight from your vehicle's main computer.
So let's get the official technical definition out of the way. P0883 is what's called an OBD2 trouble code. All it means is that the powertrain control module, the PCM, has noticed a problem with the power signal that's supposed to be going to the transmission circuit. Yeah, I know, that sounds super complicated, but stick with me. We're going to make it make sense.
Let's break that down. Just think of the PCM as your car's main brain. It's constantly talking to all the other parts. In this case, it's trying to talk to the Transmission Control Module, or TCM, which is the part that handles all the gear shifting. Code P0883 is basically the car's brain yelling, "Hey, I'm getting a really weird high-voltage power signal from the transmission. Something's not right." And that power signal has to be perfect for your car to shift smoothly. So this isn't just a tiny glitch, it's a serious communication breakdown.
So the car's brain sent the error message, but how does that actually show up for you, the person behind the wheel? Let's dive into the clues your car is probably giving you.
The most obvious symptom, of course, is that check engine light glaring at you. But you've probably noticed other things too. Maybe the car feels like it's struggling to shift gears, or it jerks a little bit. You might also notice a really long pause before it finally shifts. Or, and this is a big one, maybe the engine revs up really high, but the car doesn't speed up to match. That's a classic sign of the transmission slipping. These are the real-world clues that point to that communication problem.
And this is why we're talking about this, because this isn't a code you want to ignore. Our sources are crystal clear on this. If you let this problem go, it can cause way more serious, and trust me, way more expensive damage to your transmission down the line. So the big takeaway here is you gotta act on this, and fast. All right, so you know the code, and you're nodding along with the symptoms. Now it's time to put on your detective hat. Diagnosing this thing is a pretty logical process, and we're gonna walk through it right now.
Your investigation really comes down to 3 basic steps. First, grab an OBD2 scanner and plug it in. You need to confirm that P0883 is the code you're dealing with. Next, just use your eyes. Pop the hood and do a visual check of all the wiring and the connectors that lead to the transmission. Are any of them cracked, frayed, or looking corroded? And finally, check the transmission fluid. Pull the dipstick. Is the fluid level low? Does it look really dark or smell burnt? These 3 simple checks are going to tell you almost everything you need to know.
Okay, once your investigation is done, you should have all the clues you need to figure out the right solution. So let's move on to the final part, matching the problem you found with the right fix. The fix really just depends on what your detective work uncovered. If you found some nasty-looking wires, the solution is pretty straightforward. You either repair them or replace them. If it turns out your transmission fluid was low or in really bad shape, you might be in luck. A simple fluid flush and a refill could fix the whole thing. Now, if you've checked the wiring and the fluid and everything seems totally fine, that's when you might be looking at a bigger issue. It could mean you need to replace the transmission control module or, in a worst-case scenario, the entire transmission.
So that daunting P0883 code, it's not a final sentence for your car. It's just the start of your investigation. It could be pointing to something as simple as a bad wire or low fluid, things you can totally handle. But the only way you're going to know for sure is to start the process. The power is literally in your hands to follow these clues and find the answer. Your diagnostic journey starts right now.